When you walk into your home, what's the first thing that you feel? Is it peace or is it panic? I'm so excited today because we are going to help somebody with their personal kitchen. They reached out to me on Instagram. They sent me photos of their kitchen. They don't have a big budget to do a renovation. So we're going to organize and design their space as best that we can with mostly what they have already. And I'm really excited to jump into this. Let me give you a little bit of background on this family. This is a mom that reached out to me. She has little children, a busy life. So you can see in the pictures of her existing kitchen that life is happening, and that's okay. It's going to be that way. But I really wanted to help her create zones. It seems as though every part of her kitchen is sharing equal amounts of work instead of having certain parts of her kitchen working for certain things. So I talk about this other videos that I've done and in some of the resources that I have, and I will link the resources in the show notes. But we want to create clearly defined spaces. So the first thing that I want to do is on the wall to the right when you first walk in, there is some shelving and some kitchen items on that right side. Now I understand that this is probably because there feels like there is a lack of storage, doesn't seem to have a ton of cabinetry, and so they're utilizing open shelves wherever they can to have storage. I actually love this. I wouldn't necessarily get rid of open shelves, but what I do want to do starting on this wall is take everything that's kitchen items for now, and we're just gonna clear it out. If we need to leave the deep freezer, I understand space-wise there might not be another place to put that. But what we wanna do is take some of the backpacks and things that are next to the kitchen by the door, and we're going to now make this right side wall when you walk in a mudroom type space. We're going to have a bench, we're going to have a place for shoes, we're going to have hooks for backpacks, and keep your storage up above your hooks. And if you have to have more kitchen items over there, then that's fine. But I would try to really rethink this space as kind of your entryway mudroom zone. You can have bins up above there that maybe you don't use as much. You can keep it looking neat with the bins. But let's redo this front entry side and make it your mudroom. Okay, for the kitchen itself, I think the first thing that we have to do is just really assess the things that you have, right? So the first thing I would say is let's just do some spring cleaning and really go through every single item that you have in your kitchen. And I know it sounds super overwhelming, so you can just do it in chunks. You don't have to like tackle the whole kitchen all at once. Just get rid of anything that you don't use on a consistent basis, or if it's something that you need for like special occasions or certain events, but you're not using regularly, let's get that stored in another place. The reality is that there just isn't space for everything. The clutter that is happening is going to cause more chaos and more clutter than if we can clear it out, and illusion of space just by having our countertops clean and by having a more organized space. We really can give the illusion of a much bigger kitchen. Part of that comes with just saying goodbye to some things, and I know that's probably the hardest part of this whole process, and you might be thinking like, what does that have to do with design? And it's just the reality, right? So go through all your things one step at a time, one section at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just really evaluate what you have, what you really need, what you don't need, and let's try to narrow down the things that we have. Then the next thing that we're gonna do is tackle this zone method, right? So we already tried to eliminate as much kitchen items from that right side wall when you walk in so that we could create a proper like mudroom drop zone for you. So let's keep your left side, which you have like a U-shaped type kitchen going on. Let's keep this more for kitchen items only. If you need to bring in another shelf now that you can utilize where your backpacks used to be, go ahead and do that. We don't have a budget for cabinets or anything like that, but if it is possible, I would recommend removing your upper cabinet and then just doing all floating shelves. Like you can buy brackets really inexpensive on Amazon, find inexpensive lumber to use. It doesn't have to be, you know, fancy wood or anything like that. I think we can really lean into like the cottage core style for this kitchen and allow it to be eclectic, allow it to not be perfectly finished. The upper cabinets that you have are small and they just don't seem like they're super functional. Not to mention that they're just kind of making the space, like your ceiling, feel lower. You already have a soffit at the top. Even in my home, and I've talked about this before, like I don't have tall ceilings. My ceilings are less than 8 feet tall. So in order to give illusion of height, I have light colored walls, and I did all floating shelves as uppers. I use them for my everyday items. I don't just put pretty things on them. They are highly functional. I've done some really quick AI images to help visualize what this might look like. Again, these are quick AI images. They are not going to be perfect. That's definitely maybe more polished than it will end up looking in real life, but that's okay. I did have the cabinets on the lowers painted green. That's just for fun, to give you some color, and still just notice your home has a lot of color, so I don't want to take away what brings you joy. And as we work around the room, I'll kind of tell you like where I would put things. If you can't paint the cabinets, or that's not a part of the process, that's not a problem at all. Let's focus on just removing your upper cabinets, getting some simple brackets, and adding shelves all the way around so that we can utilize that for all your plates, all your cups. So let's start with, like, right when you walk in, you have your kitchen wall, is what it seems like. So excuse me if I'm a little bit wrong. I was like piecing the pictures together to try and figure out the layout. But so on your sink wall, I would keep all of your things like prep items, right? So this is gonna be a lot of where you're washing fruits and vegetables, where you're maybe doing cutting for meal prep. And so you're gonna want like your knives over there, your cutting boards over there, all of your silverware potentially you would want over on this side, strainers, all the things that you use when you're at the sink, when you're prepping your food, when you're washing your food, cutting, all of those things. So again, you can utilize nice jars to put in, you know, like any of your prep items. If you have a nice knife block, you can keep that over there. Like your strainers and stuff, you can stack them on your new open shelves. I'm gonna kind of explain this as if we're doing the open shelves. I understand if that's just not a possibility. Use these tools the best that you can with what you have already. I would still organize with these zones as much as possible. It'll just make the flow so much better, keep your life simple, make mornings and meal times so much easier. So yeah, so that's the sink. That's where you're gonna have all your prep things, your particular home. That's how it would work best. And then you move over and you have your stove and your microwave. So this is where I would probably keep plates. All your pots and pans are gonna be in this section. Your cooking utensils are gonna be in this section. Cooking oils and spices, I can see already that you have your spices over there, and that's great. You can leave it just like that. Your little spice rack is very cute. Another good thing that would help you just with organizing, it definitely seems like we have a lot of Tupperware, and I know you are in still like the baby phase with your kiddos, really young toddlers. So if we had a bin, if you don't have a designated area in your cabinetry where you can keep Tupperware and like your kids' plastic cups and plastic everything that they use when they're kids and we don't want them to break things, I would have a bin that you can put these items in so that they don't need to live on the countertops. I'll kind of get into that as we get over to your fridge area, because I think that's where a lot of your organizing is going to live. I would definitely utilize a lot of labeled bins for your home, and I know you have some. I love the jars that you have on your countertop with your, I'm not sure if it's cereal or things like that in there, but those are great. I would continue utilizing those. Any loose items that you have, we're going to put in bins and label them. We're not gonna let them kind of free flow around the kitchen, because that's just what causes the clutter. It causes mental chaos. It's really hard to just relax in spaces where there's just a lot of small items everywhere, right? Just keeping your stove area with pots and pans, and your prep zone, I know we kind of have it over with your sink and when we started talking there, but it can kind of like go around and over to your stove as well. Like that corner in front of that window is going to be utilized as your prep zone, I would imagine. Where you do most of your cutting, you already have your knives and it looks like a cutting board over there as it is. I would maybe just move the knives a little closer over towards the sink, and your cutting boards I would potentially put over by the sink. If you get rid of your upper cabinets and do floating shelves, shelves, you can raise them a little bit so that you have more space underneath, so you can like lean your cutting boards up against the wall. You absolutely do not need a backsplash or anything like that. I think if you keep that cottagecore feel but have like decorative functional items on your countertops, right? So like your spices with your spice rack, your knife block, cutting boards, your jars with some of your things in them, those are all decorative functional items, absolutely can stay on your countertops. And then all of the things that just need a home, right? Like a bunch of random things like the Tupperware, small items that just kind of float around. Those are the things that we're going to give a more specific home with a bin, labeled bin or basket. So then we're gonna move around the room, and we're over on your right side now. So this is where we're gonna have this be more of like your pantry area. So you can utilize the lower cabinets on the right side, I would say, probably for your pots and pans and things like that. If you're able to get rid of your upper cabinets and have shelves, I think it would be really great to maybe have any overflow of spices or oils on those shelves, herbs, things like that you can have in cute jars or just use more decoratively. That would be a great place for those things. If you're able to, and we are doing floating shelves, I would have them go all the way around over to your fridge. So you kind of already have open shelves and open shelves around your fridge right now. We're just gonna organize this, right? So you have a cabinet that you're kind of using like open shelves, but just for visual clarity, if you're able to do the open shelves, removing your upper cabinets, just bring those open shelves all the way around over to your refrigerator, and then all the way to like the countertop level if you can. Yeah, you can do a few shorter ones. Obviously you need to be able to open that lower cabinet there, but you could do a few shorter ones widthwise on the left side of your refrigerator. This is gonna be your pantry, right? It kind of already looks like that somewhat of what's going on, but we're gonna put everything in bins and we're gonna label them. Bins or baskets. They don't have to have lids because you wanna be able to take them out, quickly get to what you need and put it back, right? But the more that we label and organize and get all the little tiny things into bins or baskets, the less visual clutter there's gonna be, the more things are gonna have a home. The other thing that's really great about this is it only gives you a certain amount of space to fill up the baskets. It's a really great way to help limit yourself to how many things that you have, and it helps keep you with less, right? Like easy to just collect things. Something that I appreciated we did with our house is we really my kitchen does go back. Can't see the full thing because we have like a butler pantry kind of a thing behind the wall over here. We don't have any upper cabinets, so in a lot of ways we do have very minimal storage in our kitchen, but I loved that it really made me think through, what do I have, what do I really use, what do I really need? That's all I'm gonna have, that's all I'm gonna keep. I'm not gonna have excess of things that I don't need. There are things that I have that are seasonal, like I only use for larger parties, and I keep those in the basement, so I only bring them up a handful of times every year. I don't need them to be in my kitchen on a daily basis. So if there's anything like that that you can do where you can just get it out of your kitchen when you're not using it, if it's something that you only need, I would say less than once a month or less, then just get it out of the kitchen. If you can, put it in another storage area. But yeah, just take all your things, have all of your like Ziploc bags can go into one basket, cereals can go into a basket or even into jars on your countertop. You can have all of your supplements into one basket. Just condense things so that instead of seeing a lot of little things all around, you're gonna have really cute baskets that you love. They don't have to be expensive. You can get them at the dollar store, you can get them on Amazon. There's a lot of different places to just get cute baskets. And then hopefully you can find ones that you can label, because that's really gonna help you find things quickly and easily and to just create that flow. So those are your zones. You're going to, again, just to walk through your space. When you first walk in on the right hand side, that's now gonna be your mudroom space. You can utilize upper shelves if you need to for some larger kitchen storage items. If you have to, you can keep your deep freezer there, but have a little bench or a chair so that you can, and have some shoe storage, have hooks for the backpacks, and then have your shelving above that. Your kitchen on the right hand side. If possible, I would recommend taking out your upper cabinets and having a couple rows of shelving, open shelving, and again, utilizing just simple brackets from your hardware store, from Amazon, and some simple wood planks. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. We're really wanting to maximize how much space you have to organize and to have storage. Your sink area is going to have your your prep zone stuff. Then it's also gonna kind of curve around over to your stove. All that area in between your sink and your stove is gonna be all your prep zone items, anything you need to do dishes and things like that. Of course, I keep all my cleaning supplies underneath the sink for things that I need to clean in my kitchen, and then any of my other home supplies, cleaning stuff, I keep in my mudroom. If you need to keep that in another place, you absolutely can. And then you're gonna have all your pots and pans to the right side on your lower cabinets, and you can keep all of your spices and your oils and other cooking utensils and things like that either nicely on the counter, like you already have some of your cooking utensils in a jar, which is great. Just organize things with bins and jars and labels. I just, again, really think floating shelves are gonna be your best friend here, because you can take them all the way around, very inexpensive, without having to like really redo your kitchen and your cabinetry. And around your refrigerator is gonna be your pantry, kind of as it is. You can keep your larger kitchen appliances. They're small appliances, but you know, some of them are a little bit larger, so you can keep those in that area still. And then you're just gonna bin all of your supplements, all of your dry foods that you don't wanna keep in jars on the counter and things like that. You can have jars of them on the open shelves in your pantry area, but as much as you can, condense and label all of your Ziploc bags, trash bags, juices, and things like that. You can keep in bigger bins on the bottom, because those will obviously be heavier items. I think there's a lot of potential here. I really hope that the little AI images that I did are useful for you. I know obviously it doesn't show the totality of the things that you're gonna need to store. I really believe that there's a lot of potential in your space, and just because you have a smaller kitchen, utilizing organizational tools is really gonna be your best friend. Going through and you know, kind of minimalizing how much you have will be really helpful as well. You don't have to get rid of everything. I'm not saying that, you know, what people would call a minimalistic life by any means. I'm certainly not a minimalist myself. There is just some freedom to not having unnecessary items or things that you just don't use often enough to keep around. It limits the amount of choices that you have to make in a day, and us as moms make a million choices every day. We have to make a million decisions every day. And so eliminating some of those decisions just by having less things is actually very freeing. Again, I just thank you so much for submitting your pictures of your kitchen. I really truly hope that this was helpful for you. I hope the visuals that we provided was helpful for you. And if you're someone watching this video and you really want help in your space, please reach out to me. I would absolutely love to continue to do these to help people their own spaces, and to help other people kind of visualize potentially what they can do in their home as well, through those that are willing to be a little bit vulnerable and submit pictures of your home to me. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe. I am just so honored to have this channel. I'm really grateful that God pushed me to do this. It was not something I would do on my own, but I'm excited to continue to help you. Bless you. See you later.